Hey guys, so this video I'm just going to quickly talk about rebound phase. So I recently finished competition season and I've entered a rebound phase now, so a lot of other people will be doing the same. And it's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, but not really anyone talks about what a rebound is, so I thought I'd just quickly go into that. When you're in a caloric deficit for a long period of time, for example I was in it for 24 weeks, that's 6 months, your body becomes very sensitive to certain things that when you're in the depths of the off season it's not. So insulin sensitivity is the main one that we talk about, but there are other things going on. So a rebound phase is basically a time when your body becomes super sensitive to certain processes which are optimal for building muscle, and we want to take advantage of the fact that they are so sensitive. In a short period of time you can gain a lot of size and strength, which is exactly what we're doing right now. So what can we do in a rebound phase to take advantage of all of that? So there are two kind of main points that people make when they come out of a caloric deficit, and one is to limit the amount of body fat you're going to put on, and the other one is to kind of reset your other hormone levels, i.e. ones that tell you that you're hungry and ones that tell you that you're craving food. So we want to get those back to normal so that we don't come off track with our diet, but we also don't want to put on too much body fat in doing so. So how can that be achieved in a rebound phase? So having some structure behind your diet, having a plan that you follow day in, day out. That being said, your plan doesn't have to be 100% clean food. There can be a little bit of junk in there, a bit of sugar. Best times to use that, like we said, we're very insulin sensitive. Pre-training, intra-training, post-training, great times to put in if you want a bit of sugary food. Cereal post-training, very popular these days, as everyone knows. Intra-workout carbohydrates are going to be great. And pre-training, jam, rice cakes, very popular. All that kind of food that's going to go in there is going to help you be able to control some of your cravings, because let's face it, after dieting and being in a caloric deficit for a long time, you're going to want some sugar and some shit. And planning your cheat meals as well. So rather than just waking up and thinking, what do I want to eat today? If you've got a diet plan set out and that evening you're going to go out with some friends to eat, stick to your diet plan all day. And then when it comes to that meal out with your friends, have whatever you want. Obviously, it would be better to have steak and potatoes going out, but if you want the double cheeseburger or the full 4 cheese pizza, that just happens. That's fine, that's okay. One of the main takeaway points I think about controlling the rebound phase is having a structure that doesn't vary. So if you do go out for a cheat meal and you eat a huge pizza, the next day don't do an extra half an hour of cardio to make up for it. And I know it makes perfect sense to think I'm going to counter all that junk by doing extra work, because that can then get you in a cycle of then binging and then trying to undo the binge with the work. Instead, just have the plan and follow the plan. Stick to your plan. If you have a coach, be open with them about if you do come off track and what you have had, so that adjustments can be made. Lying to your coach, one, they're going to know you're lying, and the other one is then they can't help you. They can't be accurate with you anymore because they don't know what you're doing because you're not telling them. Don't be a fucking idiot, basically. So then the other aspect of the rebound phase, so when it comes to training after this long period of time in a caloric deficit, it's not going to take much stimulus for you to get stronger and bigger. So what I've done, what me and my coach Andy have done, is actually strip back all volume, and training wise we're only doing 1 working set per exercise and then about 6 exercises per session. And that sounds like we're missing a trick here because we've got all this food available and we're super sensitive to it. Why don't we just then do loads of volume, and surely that equals more muscle, right? More equals more. That's not always the case, especially not in bodybuilding. What we have to consider is that we can only adapt to so much stimulus, and over time, if we've adapted to a stimulus, where do we then go? So if I have 5 high volume sets per exercise, then when I adapt to that, where do I go then? Do I have to know how to 6 set, 7 set, and keep going? That's just over time is just going to become detrimental to what we're trying to do. The other aspect is the joints need time to recover as well. So if you're battering your joints after a long time of them not having to lift serious loads, and each week you're getting stronger, if you're doing, say, if I was doing 2 working sets per exercise, 6 exercises, 12 working sets where my joints are being exposed to heavier and heavier weight very quickly, versus 6, my joints are going to respond a lot better in handling the information and being able to adapt to those weights than if we were to batter them with volume. It sounds like we're making excuses and trying to be lazy. It's definitely not trying to be lazy, because what's going to happen is at one point when the joints catch up and we adapt to the one set as no longer to get stimulus, then we can add in the extra metabolic work, the second set, the intensifiers, the clusters, the drop sets, the rest pause. All of that, we don't have to use it immediately. We've got loads of tools in our arsenal. In the same way that in a diet, you don't do everything at once. You don't do 2 hours of cardio, and you don't do 1,600 grams of calories, and you don't do 10 pills of Clen and all that. You don't use it all off the bat. You use it as and when it's necessary to get to the next level. So I think the key takeaway points here are structure in the rebound. How you go about structuring your rebound is up to you. There are a few schools of thought on how hard you should go with calories, carbs, with fats. I personally believe going higher with the carbs, moderate protein, and lower with the fats. I think that's more beneficial because you're sensitive to the carbohydrates, so you want to get the most out of sensitivity. And you want to be pushing the calories without going too crazy with the calories, so having the fats a bit lower is going to be a way of controlling the calories, and then when you go into the full-blown off-season, you've then got the calories from fats to use up. So if you need to push through to that next extra 500,000 calories, you've got the room to do that with the fats. Whereas doing that with the carbohydrates can be a bit more difficult. So yeah, structure with your training, trying to have set days, set rest days, and not trying to go too crazy with all the extra energy and food. And then also feeding back, being honest with your feedback to your coach, or if you're planning it and doing it yourself, be honest with yourself about what you've eaten, how you've trained, how you've rested, and then that will give you the best indication of what to do to continue improving. So that's enough of the introduction to the rebound phase. Just quickly how I think it changes to a reverse diet. That's another phrase that's thrown around a lot. Reverse dieting, in my opinion, is just being a lot more controlled with how you come out of a diet, very much limiting the calories you're putting in, week out, to try and limit that body fat. And I think it's more important to get healthy again, because you've gone for a very unnaturally low body fat level. It's going to take longer for your other hormones to catch up if you try and maintain that low body fat for longer. Now, granted, it looks better, and you probably feel a bit better when you look in the mirror, but I'd rather get strong and get healthy faster. You will encounter less water retention, which has an impact on your kidneys and blood pressure, reverse dieting, but that can also be managed with proper supplementation and getting blood work done. So it's ultimately up to the individual what they choose to do. I'd rather rebound, take advantage of what we have on offer naturally, in terms of the insulin sensitivity and the better sleep, better rest, get strong, get big, stay healthy, and that's about it. So now what we'll do is, this will probably be the next video, we'll go and train push at the gym, and you can kind of see the low volume approach and how it's still intense and how the logbook's just getting beaten every session. So yeah, hope you paid attention to all that, guys, and if you didn't, really sorry. And if it sounds like a load of gibberish, then sorry for wasting your time, but please like and subscribe anyway.